Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everyone. This is Locked On Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Robyn Leaño. I've been covering the Coyotes for about 5 or 6 years or so, mainly covering the Tucson Roadrunners. That's where I live. Excited to be covering the Coyotes as a podcast host for the second season for this wonderful upcoming year. I mean, we're almost in October, guys. I'm super excited. But not only that, now super excited to officially welcome Carl Pavlock as co-host of this show. I think it's probably a long time coming. A lot of you guys probably figured something was going on. I kept having him on like every freaking day. But Carl, officially welcome to the show as co-host.
Thanks. It's nice to be here officially. It's something that we had talked about a while. I'm the managing editor over at Five for Howling, where you have written for us for a number of years. And we've done some podcasting in the past. Great to be coming onto the Locked On Network and getting things done here for the upcoming season.
It's going to be quite the season for the Arizona Coyotes. I think a lot of people know that. It's going to be exhausting. Let's put it that way. It's going to be exhausting.
It is going to be an emotional roller coaster for Coyotes fans. It's not going to be good or fun a lot, but something that we have talked about a lot during the off season is there's going to be a lot of silver linings to look forward to, and that's always really just kind of a cool thing when you're a hockey fan, exploring the silver linings.
Absolutely. Silver linings out of a team that's rebuilding. That's what you want to look at, because you want to hold on to something that you're like, you know what? Years from now, we're going to look at this and we'll be like, it's going to end up being like the best part of the team, by a lot.
There's going to be someone that you're watching their first game this season, and you're just going to be like, wow, I wonder what they're going to be in the next couple of years. And for a couple of those players, it's going to be like someone great, because the Coyotes are going to be getting plenty of high draft picks. They're going to be getting plenty of highly skilled players, and they're hopefully going to be able to develop them correctly this time.
Absolutely. That's what you want out of all that. But hey, we got a lot to get to on this show. We got the preseason officially starting today for the Arizona Coyotes. They will be over hosting the Los Angeles Kings as their preseason opener. Super excited for that. We're also going to talk about just general preseason expectations, maybe things that we're looking most forward to this upcoming preseason. And then we'll talk about some other general Coyotes news. So, Carl, let's get it started.
Yeah. So it's like you said, today is the first preseason game. Definitely will be interesting to see how the Coyotes handle it. I know when we're looking at these kind of preseason games, we often see like an interesting mix of younger players who aren't going to make the roster. Coaches just kind of want to see what they can do, and some older veterans just to kind of make sure that they have enough time. So you can't really learn too much about the first game because there's so many players still, but definitely can give you like a couple hints about what's going to be happening in the next few weeks as we start to eliminate people.
I mean, let's be real too. This first game tonight, you're not going to see like 15 minutes from Nick Schmaltz. It's just not going to happen. This game is meant for the prospects mainly to warm up and see like, how do you slot into a line? Let's see if you can if mainly third or fourth line people, maybe even some second line people, special teams. Let's see how you gel with these players, and let's keep doing that. And if that works, we'll probably give you a roster spot.
Yeah, and like chemistry is going to be major for these kind of games. And like you said, we're probably not going to be seeing Schmaltz. We're probably not going to see Clayton Keller. You can get like a couple of like ideas about maybe who the best people in the Tucson Roadrunners are, because they want to make sure that they get in games right away. But they may not make the roster, so let's make sure to give them the early ons, and then Keller and Schmaltz will start kind of getting in there towards the end.
Yeah, it's usually I think it's what like the I think what the third the second to last game or whatever, like those games. Um that's like the games when you're actually testing real lines and see how things work that way. These first two games, yeah, it's mainly meant for Roadrunner junior players, Roadrunners players, those that are trying to fight for a roster spot. And if they make it to the third and fourth and fifth preseason game, then they have a higher chance of, keep going.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's like one player who we can say definitively will not be playing tonight, and that's Phil Kessel. But everyone else, it's kind of up in the air on who's going to be in that roster. Um, and like you
And,
said, go ahead.
and it also goes saying that those who are under contract as well. If you're not under contract, you're you're not in these games.
Yeah, definitely that too. Um, but I'm kind of curious to see, like, does Dylan Gunther play in tonight's game, or is that someone that they're kind of maybe holding off a little bit on because they want to make sure he's playing with like the top tier linemen, or are they just gonna see like how he plays with everyone? He looked good in the rookie faceoff tournament. He can, I'm sure, put on a good show against the Kings prospects.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see quite amount of Giannis Mosier. We're going to see quite amount of Liam Kirk tonight, and it's going to be cool. I'm excited to see them and see how they work with their future Roadrunner teammates.
Yeah. And we should get a pretty like good representation for the Tucson Roadrunners next year. So if you are thinking about maybe catching a few games down there, seeing a team that's going to be better than the Coyotes, this is your first kind of preview night to get a chance to take a look at all that.
That just takes me back to that reference that you made. It kind of takes me back to the year that they brought the preseason game down here to Tucson. Just like, hey, let's promote hockey in Tucson. Why not? But that's for another thing.
Yeah, the Coyotes are going to be promoting hockey in Tucson in a very different way in the upcoming seasons, by just having a lot of very good prospects playing down there, and just learning the game up as the team in the NHL does not do good in order to get that really high draft pick.
Yeah, no, it will. It will be quite the thing to watch. Of all those things coming up tonight. Trying to think who else we might see tonight. I'm trying to look at get their roster.
Well, I'm kind of curious, like, if you are Tournier, do you start like Soderstrom and Barrett Hayton now, or do you kind of see like, and the same with a Jan Yannick, like those kind of like the top line players that I think a lot of people think are going to be in Tucson, but could very well make the Coyotes. Do you give them as much time as you can, or are you still like looking at evaluating kind of like the more fringe candidates today?
I think you put him on the top line to kind of get a momentum started tonight. And then like from there, like have Tornade kind of use whatever momentum or the kind of judge based off the flow. Is like, do I need them the rest of this game, or do I just let the rest of the younger prospects take control?
Yeah.
And just give them less minutes. I mean, they'll still be playing, but they won't be playing as many minutes as the other guys.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting. This is Turnier's like first year with the Coyotes, and the first real preseason we've had in a very long time. So it'll be kind of interesting to get like a better like insight into how he runs his teams, how he runs the training camp, and just kind of like the general system that they use. Because I think a lot of people just don't really know anything yet. It'll be like, you know, today is the first look at it, and this is the first chance we can see what the Arizona Coyotes are going to be.
Yeah, and again, that's the most important part about this first game for the preseason, and I couldn't be more excited for it.
It's preseason is definitely one of those like highlights. And, like the first preseason game is just a really fun time, and it means that hockey is starting back up again, and it's going to be real games that matter very soon.
That's the big part. Hockey is starting back up again. It is, that's that's that is the absolute big part. Any other thing that we should say? Maybe going in tonight. Actually, someone who I really want to see, Matias Machelli.
Yeah, Michelli. Um, I thought he looked good in like kind of in the rookie faceoff tournaments, but I am definitely interested to see a lot more of him. I'm interested to see like pretty much everyone in that tournament because I thought they played really well against, the Golden Knights, and kind of started to fall off when it came to the who was it, the Ducks and the Kings. Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
I'd like to kind of see them against like a more well-rounded team. A lot of the games start to get a little bit more physical, especially I think against the Kings. So now the Coyotes have some physical players of their own, some older veterans who are brought in who can kind of take care of some of that stuff.
absolutely though. But we still have a lot more to get to on this show. We can keep going about this. But once again, we want to remind you guys that tonight is the first preseason game for the Arizona Coyotes hosting the Los Angeles Kings. That game at Gila River Arena starting at 7 p.m.
Does this sound familiar? You've got one device that lets you catch the game live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows, you're watching sports highlights on your phone, and you've got your neighbor's best friend's login for the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all the entertainment you love without the hassle, and a great way to get your TV together. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on demand favorites together like never before so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part, there's no annual contract. So get rid of that clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directv.com. That's directv.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package.
All right, back here on the Locked On Coyotes podcast. Once again, Robyn, Leaño, and Carl Pavlock here to talk to you guys about Arizona Coyotes preseason. Once again, this podcast is available wherever you get your podcast, as well as the all-new video podcast on YouTube. Super excited to be on YouTube. Couldn't thank you guys enough because of all your support, making the Locked On Coyotes one of the most popular Coyotes podcasts out here in the state, as well as making the Locked On Coyotes podcast your first listen today. We put these out early in the morning, and just because we guys know you guys love to listen, and again, we really appreciate that. But now let's go ahead and put on the focus here because we're going from the we've talked about the expect kind of like what we were looking forward to in tonight's game, but let's take a look at the more grand scope of things because uh, there's a lot to digest in this preseason. There are a lot of people who might be fighting for roster spots. There might be people who we haven't seen in a long time, maybe nursing injuries, maybe doing something that we're just like, let's see how they improved over the offseason, if they did anything different.
So it's like normally you get like a few people who change like during the off season. The Coyotes completely blew up the team this past off season, and it's going to make just a extremely interesting preseason because we're going to get to see like this is going to be our first look at an entire bottom half for the Coyotes. We don't know who's going to be playing there, who's going to be playing in Tucson. We don't know who's going to be going back to juniors. Like there are tons of question marks, and preseason is kind of where we start to get some answers on that. We're going to see people slowly trickle away, get reassigned, and we'll get the better idea of where exactly this team is going in the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, we'll get a good idea. And the cool thing is, again, seeing those prospects who could very well make a roster spot, and they'll last a couple of days, but still, like let's say Dylan Gunther, has a fantastic preseason, which could very well happen. And then plays like 5 games with the Coyotes, and they're like, you know what, we love you, but we don't want to use your contract, so we're going to send you back to Edmonton.
Yeah.
But you're doing great.
Yeah. And it's usually like you're going to go back to Edmonton. It's going to help us contract wise. Also, here's X, Y, and Z that you need to work on. So, like, the prospects have like a much better idea of how they need to improve their game. Like, a short stay in the NHL playing real games can't hurt a player like Dylan Gunther or Mosier or anyone else, but it can definitely give them like a lot to work on in the next year, because that's what the Coyotes are going to be all about for the next couple of seasons, developing their players.
Yeah, absolutely. Player development, that's one of the biggest things that I want to see in this preseason, as well as just general, like, line pairings. Obviously, we won't see line pairings tonight, or like accurate line pairings. Probably won't see accurate line pairings until at least game 3, at least somewhat close to it. But defensive pairings, again, like we were talking about defense and how that could go down. I just really can't wait to see, like, what's a good example? Like Vladislav Provanev and be alongside Ilya Labushkin, for example. Like,
Yeah, or like the Strawman Timmins like debate over who's going to be with Jacob Chikrin. Well, we should be getting more of that, like you said, a couple games in, um, and there is a chance that something's going to click right away, which is also just a really fun thing that happens in preseason with a bunch of new players. You get someone who's brought in, they're like, man, these two look like they've been playing together for their entire lives. How have they never like seen ice at the same time? And hopefully we get something like that. It'd be nice to know that like some part of the Coyotes is at least functioning properly and going together well, because just uh, like we said before, there's not a lot that's going to go right this upcoming season.
no, there really isn't. Just because, I mean, everyone knows how much of a deep rebuild this is going to be this year. Like, I've had so many crossovers so far. I had 5 crossovers with our division rivals. I still got 2 more to go. A little teaser coming up in the next couple of weeks. We will have um, the host from the Locked On Blues guys, still trying to get them on, as well as a someone who covers the Predators. We don't have a Locked On Predators host, so we will bring someone, an expert on who covers the Nashville Predators, to do a little preview again to round out our Central Division preview. But again, yeah, there's every one of them has asked me so far, like, what do you what's your expectation of the Coyotes? And I'm just like, really, not much.
Yeah, I have been asked through Five for Howling by a Chicago Blackhawks website, like the Coyotes have like not a lot of hype going into the season. Is that deserved? And I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be rough. We'll occasionally get some bright spots in there, and you know, maybe Dmitry Yoshkin will have a phenomenal season, but like there's going to be a lot of pain in the Coyotes, and um, you know we'll probably start to see some of that during the preseason. Preseason games don't matter unless you're winning, in which case they mean everything in the world.
You mean to tell me that we're not going to see like a Jacob Chikrin winning the Norris this year?
I think Jacob Chikrin is going to make a strong case for being a Norris contender in the future.
He'll get some
This
votes still.
season.
He'll
Yeah,
still get some votes this year.
he'll get some votes, but I don't see him winning. I don't see the Coyotes being a team where you could have the Norris Trophy winner be from there. It just doesn't work with what's happening.
No, it doesn't. Any other thing from you? What else do you expect from the preseason?
I mean, I think this is definitely has the potential for being like a renaissance year for a few players. Players like Galchenyuk and Shane Gostisbehere, they have a lot to prove this upcoming season, and I think that's going to make them all the more motivated for a good preseason and a good training camp. Like if you're Alex Galchenyuk wanting to you got a new GM and a new head coach since last time you were here, you want to make a good impression, show that you're worth like kind of the PTO. Um, I can see that translating to a really good preseason. What about you?
Yeah, I was with you on that too. I was like my main focus was on Gossespierre because again, like he's still like high in a lot of people's lists. Like everyone was still saying, oh, he's still he still can very well be a second pair defenseman, which is great. And and yes, he's overpaid probably, but I mean that doesn't matter to the Coyotes at
Yeah,
this point. And is if the Coyotes being on that on a rebuilding team can help nurse him back to the Gaza Spirit everyone once knew, then yeah, I mean I'm absolutely for that.
yeah. If just kind of like the opportunity presents itself and he's able to take advantage, that'd be great. Um, and I think he's like there are a few Coyotes players who can very easily I can see that happening. Um, and they're going to be the players who get traded at the trade deadline probably because they'll have increased their value. But up until then, it'll be fun to watch.
I mean, let's be real. There's not very much that the Coyotes can trade left. Um,
Probably not. No. I think um like unless you're really looking for veteran talent come the trade deadline, you're probably not going to go looking for the Coyotes.
I mean, I think what was I was doing when I was doing the crossover, I was like, yeah, like no one's gonna take Clayton Keller or Lawson Krause's contract. Or Lawson Krause is not on a bad contract, but or Nick Schmaltz's contract. That's right. I was looking at the wrong. Yeah, but Clayton
Yeah.
Keller, or Nick, like no one's gonna take those. It's just not. It's just not viable.
I mean, not at this point. If you get like a couple like a good season, because I do think that there are potentially people out there in the hockey world who are like, what were they in a bad system and could they turn it around with a different head coach? Like we've seen that before, and I don't think Schmaltz especially has a terrible contract. He just like needs to be more consistent for the money he's getting.
So
And
you say if he has like 25 goals by the trade deadline,
but the trade deadline, yeah.
he's gone.
I could see that. If he had 25 goals by the trade deadline, which I think would be one
That's
of
like
his
yeah,
best
that'd be a
goal
really
scoring
good.
seasons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be a really good season.
yeah.
Um,
Uh, I could see a team like taking a shot at that, but I mean, we're still early in the rebuild. But if you know Schmaltz and Keller come out with 25 goal seasons, do they get a spot back in the Coyotes rebuild plans? Like I don't know. Like a big issue that they had was like their consistency, and this is kind of like we talk about Galchenyuk needing to have a good year. Clayton Keller and Nick Schmaltz also need to have good years, and it'd be great for them to start like with a good preseason as well.
yeah, that's and again, that's the most important part about the preseason. See how all that meshes together because especially because Galchenyuk, we're bringing another forward, bringing another center for that matter because we're talking about the centers and we don't have enough of them, right?
There are far too few centers for the Arizona Coyotes, and Galchenyuk as center. I mean, I'm not sure how well it's gonna work out, but let's we may have to give it a try.
We would have to give it a try because cap friendly list Galchenyuk as left wing, center, right wing. He could do whatever.
I mean, can do whatever is a very interesting way to phrase that, but yes, he can play all positions, uh,
I mean,
not to the
theoretically, Ryan
same level
Jasenko
of
can do the same.
competencies. Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, we know Nick Schmaltz is the number one C for the Coyotes. That's kind of a given, which is also not saying much, but
Yeah. I mean, really, who would even be up next? Barrett
Johan
Hayton
Larson.
or Larson? Number one center, Johan Larson.
So
That's
I think would be it in order like probably by the end of by the end of the preseason you'll see like top line center to fourth line center you will see it will be Schmaltz, Larson, DeZingle, and uh Beagle.
I mean, at least it won't be like last season where Tocchet just played Schmaltz and Keller as the third line, still played him the same amount of ice time, like still was giving him top line minutes, but for all the reports that were just the third line.
Yeah,
For
that made absolutely no sense.
yeah, it's like I want to punish them, but I can't because there's no one better. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, that'll be like I I do think that it's a redemption year for everyone, and like we're going to be talking a lot about the players outside the Coyotes organization. There are plenty of players within the Coyotes organization who are like, hey, don't give up on me. I want to be part of this rebuild. I want to get like Dylan Gunther on my line next year so I can get all of those assist numbers from his shot. Don't give up on me yet. And
Absolutely.
that's always fun.
And we'll continue to talk about all that as the preseason goes. Once again, the first game only tonight against the Los Angeles Kings, 7 p.m. at Gila River Arena. We still got a little bit to get to. We're going to be talking about just some other small things that were talked about over the last weekend. Before we get to that, we'll let you guys know that today's episode brought to you by Built Bar. Did you know that Built Bar has so many delicious flavors? There is absolutely something for everyone. If you don't know all the flavors, you're missing out. They got cherry barcia, mint brownie, double chocolate, orange, cookies and cream. It is absolutely amazing. My favorite flavor is churro puff. I had it, a few months back when it was like limited time. I think they bring it back every now and then, and oh my god, does it taste delicious! But not only are they delicious, they're also healthy too. 17 to 18 grams of protein, 130 to 180 calories, 4 to 5 grams of sugar, and only 4 to 5 grams net carbs. Amazing flavors, all tasty, all healthy. And if you guys go to built.com and use the promo code LOCKED15, you get 15% off your order. Once again, use the promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. All right, back here, Locked On Coyotes. Robyn, Leaño, Kyle Pavlock on this Monday, September 27th. Almost the end of September. This month is going by so fast. Hockey is almost back. We are officially in preseason mode. And because we're getting so freaking close, Carl, there's some schedule stuff getting announced, but not just game, like obviously not schedule, but that stuff that might matter to fans.
Yeah. The most important day for some hockey fans was last week when the Coyotes announced when you can get free stuff. There are plenty of opportunities for free stuff this upcoming season. Unfortunately, no bobblehead night, but I mean, who are you gonna put in a bobblehead? Like Jacob Chikrin?
That's about it.
Yeah, you can't just have one bobblehead night. You need to have a series. But there's a lot of good stuff all throughout the year, starting with the home opener when you can receive a free white Kachina jersey pool towel, courtesy of Gila River Hotels and Casinos. And I think what my most favorite is there's going to be a hat trick series where on 3 different games you could win hats that are designed by local artists.
I like those kind of promotional things when you bring in the local artists involved.
Yeah.
And like I've seen some really cool things from other teams where they bring in hats or jerseys or something really cool that's designed by a local artist, and I was like, oh my god, I want one.
Yeah. And I mean, like, sports and like local artists are definitely something that go together fairly well. I know I live in Phoenix. If I drive around the neighborhood, I see a bunch of graffiti Sun stuff because They recently got off of their big run, and there's just a lot that's in the valley right now, kind of commemorating that. And I'd love for the Arizona Coyotes to be able to take advantage of that. Um, and as someone who likes free stuff, especially free hats, like I will always be like, yeah, you have a cool free hat for me? Sure, I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. I personally don't wear hats as much, so maybe a hat won't do much for me. Maybe I wear a hat, like I throw on like a baseball cap if I'm riding my convertible going top down, and so my hair doesn't go all over all over the
Sure,
place.
sure,
But
sure.
I've never been a hat person, so
I mean, there's more than just hats. We got Friday, April 29th versus the Predators, which I mean that's gonna be a fun game. So you can go and get a free Kachina pool float, and that's definitely a reason to watch an Arizona Coyotes Nashville Predators game.
a pool float. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Here's something I saw that I thought was really interesting that they're doing a throwback night, yet their Kachina is their main logo now and their main jersey.
Yeah.
It's
All
already
but
throwback.
all but the 8 home games where they're wearing the Reds, it's gonna be all Kachina all the time. Uh, I'm still fine with them doing a throwback night because you know everyone does a throwback night, and I'm fine with going like specific early '90s aesthetic. But yeah, you're right. It's very much the wrong season to be doing a throwback night.
If you're gonna go throwback night, just bring back the jerseys that the reverse retro was inspired by.
The original, uh,
The original
just
Desert Scape.
yeah, the horrible puke green. Uh, I know someone who had one, and I love it because I love terrible jerseys. But that would be fun if they did something like that. Or trying to think what else you can really do for throwback.
There's not much else.
Not really, no. Do the running coyote just because that's kind of a throwback, you know, thing.
I guess so.
Uh, they're giving guests a throwback T-shirt, which I will say I have a 80s themed throwback shirt, which is funny because the Coyotes weren't even in Arizona in the 80s, but it's black with a purple outline of the state of Arizona. So I really like that shirt. So you could definitely do something with a throwback, even though they're in throwback mode this season. But yeah, just a really weird one. It's against the Philadelphia Flyers, so yeah, probably be a fair amount of Philly fans.
Yeah, there could be. I'm looking at all the rest of these, and yeah, there's. It's not like nothing that out of the ones you mentioned that completely stand out. Obviously, they have the usual hockey fights cancer night, military appreciation night, pucks and paws,
Yeah,
pride night, all those things that like every team does.
they're doing a hockey talks night, which I know Bell does up in Canada. But we have Blue Cross Blue Shield talking about raising awareness for mental health and ending the stigma surrounding mental illness. Always
And
a
that's
good night.
important. That's really
Yeah,
important.
yeah. These are definitely like there's a mix of like of fun nights and then just like general do good, like bringing attention to important issues. I do kind of wonder if like how much they were thinking. Do we want to do nights like how much focus do we want to put on this? Because there's always a chance that there's going to be like an outbreak or something, and they're going to need to like shut down games to fan attendance or limit fan attendance. Do you think that like had any kind of part in this?
It could be. I gotta really think about that.
Yeah. I just always assume there's someone in the NHL being like, we need to think worst case scenario. We're the NHL. It tends to be the worst case scenario.
I mean, especially where a league that has had shortened seasons. What now? 3 times in the last 12 years. Like
Yeah. if you told me the NHL wasn't able to complete a full season after like my life, I would just not be surprised anymore. And I mean, we never know. Like we don't even know what the Coyotes like safety plans are. Like there's just a whole lot we don't know. I could see them being a little bit hesitant, especially for a team like for the Coyotes. Maybe there was a Christian Fisher or Christian Dvorak bobblehead night planned, and just got traded to Montreal. He had to cancel.
Maybe that's why they weren't doing bobblehead nights, because they're like, we don't know what they're gonna do this year, so we don't want to make the mistake.
Yeah, we don't want to like have at the first game of the year like the on sale giant pile of bobbleheads that they just can't give away or sell anymore. I mean, I want that because I like deals, but the Coyotes do not want to have a bunch of merch sitting around that they can't sell.
Exactly. That is probably one like why they're trying to play it safe this year with their promo nights. But they'll probably get more exciting as this rebuild continues, because that's how things go. Maybe even when the new arena comes, if and when.
I mean, like arena, like even if they're doing like a temporary home, I could see them wanting to get in a bunch of people, and promo nights are a good way to bring people in. People like free stuff.
If they move to the vet, they got to do like a Phoenix Roadrunners night.
Oh, that'd be cool. Like just like they probably couldn't do it during the game, but like warm up jerseys.
Exactly, warm up jerseys, wearing the baby blue and yellow.
Yeah, sell T-shirts and rally towels and all that kind of fun stuff.
I mean, I think that's what I'm trying to think what teams did that. Actually, well, the Hurricanes actually they actually wore their call it
Hartford Whalers stuff.
Hartford Whalers jerseys. Yeah, I was thinking other ones. That I think the Sharks only for warm up did they wear the California Golden Seals jerseys, because that was not even affiliated with their history. That's the Bay Area history, but not. That's a whole different thing though.
Has Vegas done anything with that?
Well, their reverse retros were kind of based off of like an older Vegas hockey team. The name is not coming to me, but like a team that existed there, but like obviously was like a
the
CHL
Wranglers, I
team.
think. Yeah, CHL.
Or maybe the Outlaws. I think that's what it was. The Outlaws, but
they were the first professional team to do an outdoor game. Whatever that Vegas team was that I can never forget. And I just remember the story was like a bunch of like crickets and stuff like frozen on the ice, and it was very gross. Because when you're in that level league, you do crazy stuff to get people to come.
Oh yeah.
The Coyotes talent level is going to be just barely above that for the next coming season.
But anyways, yes, a Phoenix Roadrunners night would be a must if they move to the vet for a couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. Like slam dunk. As long as you can get the rights, print it, you'll make money.
Absolutely. But hey, I think that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Coyotes. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave a review. Once again, we're available everywhere you get your podcast. Now, also including on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can go ahead and just easily find it. And then when you subscribe, you'll easily know when new video episodes drop. But once again, thanks everyone for listening to this episode. Also, don't forget to interact with us on social media. I'm personally at Reliably_1. We are at LO_Coyotes. Carl Pavlock at Carl Pavlock FFH. And once again, Carl, officially welcome as co-host. Super excited to have you on full time.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad that it's official, and I'm looking forward to talking and interacting with everyone all season.
Absolutely, and that's the fun thing. We love interacting with you guys. So if you ask us a question on Twitter, we will answer right back. A lot of you guys will figure that one right away. And if we don't answer right back, maybe we're saving that question. Maybe it's an important question that we'll answer on a future episode of the podcast. Anyways, I've said it many times, but thanks again to everyone for listening to today's episode. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. Hope you guys are staying healthy. And don't forget to howl on.